clearly taking Afghanistan's side after the Pakistani airstrikes on Afghan soil. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to get serious. And this is our opportunity to surround Pakistan from both sides. Let's debate.
The 24th of December 2024, marking a sharp escalation in hostilities between Pakistan and Afghanistan. At least 46 people killed in a bombardment by Pakistan in Paktika, most of them women and children. The airstrikes targeted multiple suspected hideouts of the Pakistani Taliban inside the neighboring Afghanistan. This latest attack stems from what Pakistan claimed was its response to regular attacks by the armed group Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. In the aftermath of the strike, tensions have escalated at the border, with the Taliban warning of retaliation against Pakistani aggression.
Having incubated terrorism and acted as a nursery of terror for decades, Pakistan is perhaps now paying the costs of its sins. But the larger point is that is Pakistan become the headache of the region, blaming India sometimes and blaming Afghanistan in this case. With the Kabul regime making it clear that it would inflict costs on Pakistan, it is clear that the world community, including Afghanistan, including Taliban, see Pakistan as double crossing on this very important issue. And India, of course, now making it clear that you cannot make civilians, particularly women and children, pay the price of your own indulgence with terror.
India has strongly condemned Pakistan's airstrikes on Afghanistan, calling it an old practice of Islamabad to blame its neighbors for its own internal failures. There is worldwide condemnation of the airstrikes by Pakistan. A conflict with the Taliban and being bombarded by the Baloch Liberation Army within its own territory. Countries are calling out and snubbing Islamabad now. There is worldwide condemnation of the airstrikes by Pakistan that kill children and women. Facing a conflict with the Taliban and getting attacked by the Baloch Liberation Army within its own borders, can Pakistan exist peacefully in South Asia?
From the Indian side, we have General K.K. Sinha and Professor Madhav Nalapat. And from the Pakistani side, I have Kama Agha, defense expert, and Abdul Samad Yaqub of the PTI. Kama Agha, these airstrikes, obviously there is a conflict between both sides, so one can understand. But the fact is that 46 civilians have died, mostly women and innocent children. Was this a mistake, or was this well planned by the Pakistanis to inflict damage on women, children and civilians? The ones that happened in December last week, I mean.
Arnab, I just want to correct you. Arnab, I just want to correct you. I am an Indian based in Delhi.
No, I'm so sorry, sir. I skipped my introductions there. I was talking about Abdul Samad Yaqub. Please continue, sir. Sir.
Yes, it was by deliberate attempt by the Pakistani to dominate over Afghanistan.
Yes.
And they were treating Afghanistan like a client state, which is not accepted to Afghan Taliban, And Talibans are now very comfortable because they have developed their own ties with China, America. They negotiated with them a deal, and plus with other Central Asian republics, and now with India also they are trying to improve their ties. So they are very comfortable, And secondly, Afghanistan stature has gone up, because in case of war with Iran, America would like to use Afghan bases, which in fact they have developed. And second, one more thing, they have very little trust in Pakistan, and because of and this trust deficit is very prominent. Besides this, these people Pakistan wanted to have greater control over economic resources or natural resources of Afghanistan. That is also not acceptable to them, because now they are directly talking to Chinese and other companies for investment, and investment is also coming sometime. And Pakistan's game plan was, to exploit these resources that would help their economy. But that has backfired. Pakistanis were also negotiating gas pipeline, from Turkmenistan to Pakistan by Afghanistan. This was also not liked by Afghanistan. So there are a number of things, they don't want domination. Besides this, one more thing I'd just like to add. Both Afghan Taliban and Pakistan Pashtun Taliban, both are one people. They have one culture, one language, and most of them follow one religion. And besides this, they belong to the same religious school of thought. That is Deoband, based in Pakistan. They also came from same madrasas based in Afghanistan. But they were divided by Durand line, and Durand line is not acceptable to Taliban, because not only Taliban but previous governments also, the successive Afghan governments have not recognized this as an international border, and there is a tremendous desire now to unite both the sides. Taliban and both Taliban, Pak Taliban, TTP believes, that Pakistan army is corrupt, inefficient, and besides this, they think, they can have a better, pure Islamic state by uniting with Afghanistan.
But Mr. Agha, Abdul, this is also a diversionary tactic, isn't it, from the economic situation in Pakistan, which is going from bad to worse. Your unemployment rate, the availability of food, electricity, the number of terrorist attacks which have happened in 2024, Shia-Sunni clashes in Kurram, which are continuing. Hundreds of families are fleeing their homes. The Shia-Sunni clashes are only escalating. Chinese officials and Chinese nationals on Pakistani soil are being targeted. So I wonder, and my real point of concern is that whether your government is doing this only as a diversionary tactic from your internal issues, and whether you can sustain it.
Well, Arnab, I will not represent the declarative policy of Pakistan here. I am not representing the state.
I'm well aware of that, yes.
Representing any institute. And it's a quite confusing situation for me to present, to evaluate these incidents which are unfolded recently. Principally, I'm very much against these airstrike, as I take it the clear violation of the sovereignty of Afghanistan. And I believe it reflects actually the failure of the dialogue, the failure of the Pakistan's policy towards Afghanistan, the failure of the foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as they have clearly failed to negotiate or failed to engage the Taliban government. Which they have celebrated it well when the Kabul was fallen to Taliban's. So at this moment, instead of accepting their failures, they have started accusing the PTI and the Imran Khan that it was the Imran Khan who has initiated dialogue with the TTP. So we believe that after we were thrown out, we were ousted. It reflects a complete failure. I mean,
But you know, you can say this now, but I quite remember Professor Nalapat, that Imran Khan, who is now in jail, had hailed the American exit from Afghanistan. He said that the Taliban are breaking the shackles of slavery as the Taliban seized power. That was Imran Khan's own assessment. So I find every Pakistani politician very short-sighted. It's not like Abdul Samad Yaqub, Imran Khan's policy was any different or any more mature when he was in power. But my question is, Professor Nalapat, given its present situation, can Pakistan sustain this battle, this war, if more countries get involved?
Look, I'd like to say very clearly, Arnab, that Pakistan is only making more enemies for itself. Within the Pashtun population, an extremely proud population, and there's no question that the Durand line is an artificial line. In fact, it ought to have been wiped out of the map quite some time ago, because it is a 99-year lease which expired quite some time ago. But the point of the matter is that, the reality is this kind of an airstrike is not a precision strike on precision targets. It's a mass civilian, mass casualty strike. If you have a targeted drone strike, particularly smaller drones, supposing you have a targeted missile strike even, you can argue that you're bombing military facilities or whatever it is of the TTP, Taliban Pakistan. But you can't do that when you're talking about an airstrike which is completely indiscriminately attacks civilians and everybody else. I doubt that there was even a single non-civilian in the number of people who were killed, frankly. I mean, so this is the wrong...
Pakistan is looking to escalate this.
No, I'd like to say one thing, Arnab. Long back in 2021, I had said there are 6 factions of the Taliban. 2 are under the control of Islamabad, 1 under the control of China, and 3 are free Taliban, and that 80 to 90% of Taliban members who are youngsters are in the free Taliban. They're neither beholden to China nor to Pakistan. And now we're seeing that play out. And I believe, frankly, the Pashtun people are very proud. They're proud of their heritage. They're proud of their culture, their language, their traditions. And I do believe there's a strong push across both sides of this now extinct Durand line to integrate. And I think that is the goal forward for the Pashtuns, whether they are now in the state of Pakistan or in
So you're saying that there's going to be a hit back, a blowback?
Let me correct. These targets were precised, and the civilians, unfortunately, the collateral damage, these children, which so far we have heard that they have been killed, they were actually Pakistanis. I mean, they were not Afghanis. They were some targets of some wanted criminals from the terrorists from the TTP. I mean, so they were the Pakistani citizens. I mean, even yet I'm condemning
no,
it.
But I can't believe so, because if Pakistan wanted to target terrorist hideouts, either they are completely incompetent, because all the people who were targeted and killed were women and children, largely 80% women and children, no combatants at all.
I mean, when these
this is not my definition of collateral damage.
When usually these terrorists, they are hiding anywhere in Afghanistan or even in the Waziristan, they are usually surrounded by their families. I mean, you have the clear example of the Osama bin Laden. He was living along with his wife and kids. So what would you call them? I mean, obviously, they are always surrounded by, and you should condemn. You should also condemn when Americans were B-52 bombardments were doing the corporate bombing over there. So hundreds of thousands of Afghanis.
I don't know. I mean, I'd say this, that Pakistan today cannot have a problem with every neighbor. You know, General K.K. Sinha, you have a problem. You blame India for violent attacks on your soil. When terrorists on your soil are killed, you say India's RAW has done it. You blame Afghanistan for supporting the Tehrik-e-Taliban. You blame Iran for attacks on your soil. You don't even take the concerns of China on the situation in Pakistan seriously. You should realize, I mean, at the end of the day, General KK, they have a problem with Iran, which is at the forefront of the Muslim Brotherhood. And Iran has been supporting Pakistan.
What you are bringing.
Yeah. Yes, General KK.
Yeah, you are asking the old practice of Pakistan of blaming everyone for whatever is happening internally in Pakistan, and this total failure of a failed state which was created in 1947. And what you see is the Balkanization of Pakistan, which is just set in, slightly long back, and now what we are seeing it is happening. The Pakistan has got a syndrome. It's got fifth province syndrome of Afghanistan, that Afghanistan is their fifth province. They were used to talk about the strategic depth against India. The Afghanistan is the strategic depth. And what they created, Afghan, Taliban or TTP, what they are calling it, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which came up in 2005. Even that time it came for, to helping like Haqqani network, which they created to help the, Afghan Taliban for their strategic goal. And what you see in 2023, Arnab, how many attacks? 643 attacks were there, and death, in Pakistan I'm talking about 1,082, death which has taken place, security forces. In 2024, it is 856. In November itself and December, it is 245 plus, which has happened. And what they are doing it? You said, they are blaming. The Pakistan delegation was there on 24th December when, they carried out this airstrike, so-called airstrike, and carried out on civilians and children. It happened into Paktika area, and you have seen Nangarhar, Kohat, these are the areas. Because Pakistan is digging his own grave. They are talking about Dhul-Line, and Dhul-Line, of course, someone says 2,640 kilometer Dhul-Line, which is, Afghanistan don't agree with it. They have created barbed wire. They think that what India has done it with the Pakistan, they can do it in their eastern side.
So how should we take advantage of this, General? I believe for strategic depth or coercive diplomacy, we should take advantage of this situation, shouldn't we? I mean, we should be very, it's an opportunity for us.
Yes, absolute opportunity.
What should we do?
We should. First thing, you start off, that our ceasefire agreement of 2021, when the American has gone in the month of August, in February, we have agreed for the ceasefire. And, that's why what they were doing in Jammu and Kashmir, what you have little bit seen. First thing, we abrogate and start bonding them. What these people are doing, they have moved every forces in that side and try to take. Now, Afghanistan, today the India has come up openly in supporting the UN, because UN said that it was the innocent, women and children, they have been killed by these Pakistanis. They have done it, they used to carry out this fire across LOC in our area, but they do not know that, what the Afghanistan can do it. Not only Pakistan will come up. This is the Balkanization, setting it not only in, they are doing it with Afghanistan, they are doing it with Iran. Today when we are talking about, they have carried out their strike there also.
No, so
I'm telling you, listen, I'm just listen to me. It is your Balkanization is coming. I'm just trying to show you the mirror. Whether you, and Arnab asked what the India can do it. India can do it because, your CPAC which has come up, it is from our area. It has gone from Baltistan and POK area. And just adjacent to this in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it is happening. This is the right time to do it. Why should we try to give
do what?
Arnab is
we should carry out,
saying that
we should open
in
my judgment, if we have to take POK, this is the right time to take
India
POK.
is already...
when we are talking about, our defense minister has been saying the right time has come. What you have done it in Pakistan, the CPAC has going through our area. That is our area.
No. If
completely
TTP is
ours.
attacking Pakistan and you are
I'm
trying
not
to take the benefit of this
Pakistan. India will decide, and
so
we have
that
attacked
means that
3
we
times.
have a
And what we have done it in Eastern Pakistan.
No, you don't try to see. First
avoiding
is
the-
Abdul Samad. I tell you this. The laughable thing is, see, with the Pakistanis, don't build an ethical argument. You're an unethical nation. You can't build an ethical argument. It's not the right thing to do and all that. We're practical people. As geostrategists, we have to seize the opportunity, seize the day. seize the moment. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm seeing in this, and I want to go to Kama Agha and Professor Madhav Nalapat.
I mean, Arnab,
No, I'm
I
saying.
have a question that.
Yes, what's the
I
question?
mean, we are fighting with the TTP, and you are trying to take it as an opportunity. I mean,
Yes.
opportunity by helping them, by enhancing their capability, or by providing the ammunition to them.
You want an
which is
honest
being
reply?
used against Pakistan.
You want an honest reply?
Yeah, exactly.
We should seize the opportunities that we can to break you apart and to take advantage of your internal fissures, your growing internal instability, your weakening economy, as well as the fact that your army is poorly equipped and the fact that Trump is taking over. We can strike the right geopolitical balance to
Then you should know better that we are very
no,
good in
don't
it.
now
And
give
we
me
are
that
very
nuclear
good in it.
blackmail.
We are very good in infiltrating. We have a very huge capacity to infiltrate deep inside the India, and we can build the capability of those who are fighting against you. I mean, it's
So
then
deep into
vice
India
versa.
means what?
I mean, obviously, if you are going to support you're openly
remember what
admitting
happened to
that you
East
should take
Pakistan?
the benefit of this opportunity.
You don't
So
remember that.
You
What
think
happened
that
to
we
East
will
Pakistan?
stay silent?
You try to do it
are
without
very good in
notice.
it.
What
We have
happened? One
we have a
complete
huge
wing has
experience
gone.
of it.
And
No,
today you
we
are
have a
talking
huge
about that you
experience
can
of
do
it.
it. You have a deep hand itself. We know that you have a deep hand which can reach our parliament also. But the
हमारे
right
आपसे कोई वीजा लेके तो
time,
नहीं
this is
जाएंगे
the
ना?
right time to teach you now.
कश्मीर में आपसे
You know,
वीजा लेके जा रहे हैं.
Balkanization has set in. I said that. Balkanization has set in. Balochistan will go. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa will go. Gilgit-Baltistan will go. Your POK
Let us
can go.
keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
Sindh is sweating hard. What are you talking about?
Keep
Even
dreaming.
Pakistan is your Pakistan. You know, your Punjab. That province is also. Your TTP basically drawn from that area.
I mean, that is something which you start dreaming since Pakistan was founded.
It was.
I mean, at that time,
that was a fault. A failed state was created in 1947. Not by our
you
choice.
have been trying
It was
to
by
undo
design.
the partition
That
since
the people who
75
did
years.
it, you know, your
whose fault is
Britishers,
it?
but they,
The regional
I'm telling
instability
you,
is
it is the biggest
regional-
state.
General Saab,
That
the
time
regional
when the partition
instability
happened.
I'd like no.
because
You
of
see, I think Abdul Samad Yaqub got triggered when I said we should seize the opportunity. When I say that, I'm speaking honestly, practically like a geopolitical analyst. I'm not living in a la la land, Alice in Wonderland world. We are a strong country with strong government, strong agencies, strong connections, strong economy, unlike you. I would like Madhav Nalapat's understanding of the situation. Because I'm not talking of one final settlement, break Pakistan into two parts. I'm saying there's a natural process of erosion that is being witnessed by a country that is our pinprick. And it is, in my view, I mean, we are nobody to advise the government of India, but the government of India would be foolish not to take advantage of these, tailwinds that are there behind it at this moment.
Look, my point is very clear. What is happening in Balochistan, in Sindh, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is basically the fact that the Pakistan military is not a multi-ethnic military. It is composed only of, it is led by Pakistani Punjabis.
It's a Punjabi army.
And that section of Pakistani Punjabis. And the other nationalities feel oppressed and they are reacting back. And the military has taken control of the economy also through friends and relatives. They have I would say in my estimate, at least 90% of the large industry and about 60% of the medium industry in Pakistan is directly or indirectly controlled by the military or its relatives or its friends. It's become an octopus all over the country. And therefore the Baloch people are suffering, the Pashtuns are suffering, the Sindhis are suffering, and people in large parts of Punjab are also suffering, except for the catchment area of the military. So this kind of overwhelming takeover of resources by a single institution, led by a single group within a single ethnicity, is causing the problem. It's not India. What India should stand for is the moral and diplomatic support for all ethnicities in Pakistan, so there's a level playing field, and all ethnic groups, whether Baloch or Pashtun or Sindhi or or the Punjabis in the whole of Punjab, they should be given equal treatment. India needs to give full moral and diplomatic support to this because I would say it's a struggle for the liberation of self-respect, the struggle for the liberation of human dignity. It's a struggle for liberation of human rights, and it's only right that India stand on the side of human rights, dignity, human dignity.
Yeah, we should provide all kinds of political, diplomatic, economic support to the groups within Pakistan who are fighting for human rights and for their basic right to live a decent life. The level of persecution for all communities except the Punjabi community is so extreme in Pakistan that you don't even have to seize the opportunity. Kama Aga, it's there. Even if India does not intervene, I see this moving in a certain direction. Can I quickly get your view on where you see this going? You know, Pakistan can't hide its failures by attacking Afghanistan anymore. How will this impact the situation internally in Pakistan?
Situation is very bad. Economic condition is bad. Uprising is taking place. One side, the civilian people are uprising. They're coming out in huge numbers protesting against the government. People have no trust in army-backed regimes. They want democracy, and which they are not going to get. Army is becoming more and more repressive. One side, they are repressing their own people. And besides this, Arnab, the country is disintegrating. In the sense, the Pashtun and the Baloch, both, they never wanted to be part of Pakistan. In fact, the Badshah Khan was there when Pakistan was partitioned. He opposed the partition. He wanted to be a separate country or the arrangement which they had earlier with India. Secondly, the Baloch also never wanted. In fact, Balochistan was the last after 1.5 years. It was basically occupied by the Pakistani army, annexed by them, by Jinnah, Muhammad Jinnah. So they never wanted to be part. Now they think this is the best opportunity to get rid of Punjab-backed army establishment in Pakistan. Same case is with Sindhistan.
So I do see this then in that case.
Last comment?
Yes, Mr. Yaqub. Yes, Mr.
Well, Arnab, right after the Mumbai attacks, when there was fear that India could take, India could attack Pakistan. So at that time, TTP spokesperson has released the statement that if any adventure of from the Indian side, they will come along and fight side by side with the Pakistani army against the India. So this is the historical reference that you can never take the opportunity, no matter what's the problem with us with our
So
TTP
you're trying to play a Muslim card. Don't play a Muslim card. You are trying to say that eventually the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan will come and save the Pakistani army. The very fact that you think the Pakistani army needs help from the TTP speaks volumes about the situation of the Pakistani army. It's a very bad situation.
In case of any, if India thinks or any,
no, it's not thinking. It's a reality, sir. We are keen observers of Pakistan.
Sir,
I'll wrap up here. This has been an interesting analysis. The sum total of which, in my view, is this: that what you're seeing on the Durand line, on the on the Pakistan-Afghanistan border, will not be limited to the border alone. Ladies and gentlemen, at 9 p.m. tonight, the fight is against Neo-separatists, a National Conference MP who's trying to wage a new rebellion against Omar Abdullah.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
एक्सपर्ट्स ने HMPV वायरस के बारे में यह स्पष्ट किया है कि यह वायरस कोई नया वायरस नहीं है। इसकी पहचान सबसे पहले वर्ष 2001 में हुई थी और कई वर्षों से ये विश्व भर में फैल रहा है। HMPV वायरस एक ऐसा वायरस है जो हवा के जरिए सांस लेते समय एक दूसरे में फैलता है। यह सभी आयु वर्ग के लोगों में संक्रमण का कारण भी बनता है। यह विशेष रूप से सर्दी और बसंत के मौसम के शुरुआती महीनों में अधिक देखा जाता है।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
जिसको पिछले 20 बरस से आदत लगी हुई है जनता की बात न मानने की, वो 4 दिन में कैसे झुकेगा? सरकार की असंवेदनशीलता है, उनका अहंकार है और कहीं न कहीं उनका ये भ्रम है कि बिहार की जनता खड़ी नहीं होगी। कोई रणनीति नहीं, बस बैठे रहना है, चाहे जो करना पड़े। तो अगर बिहार में बदलाव चाहिए तो आपको, हमको, सबको खड़ा होना पड़ेगा। आज मुख्यमंत्री से मिलने के लिए 20 दिन से बच्चे टाइम मांग रहे हैं। उनके पास 5 मिनट समय नहीं है कि इन बच्चों से 5 मिनट के लिए मिल ले। कैसे झुकेगी 4 दिन में? जिसको पिछले 20 बरस से आदत लगी हुई है जनता की बात न मानने की, वो 4 दिन में कैसे झुकेगा? जिसको पिछले 20 बरस से आदत लगी हुई है जनता की बात न मानने की, वो 4 दिन में कैसे झुकेगा? सरकार की असंवेदनशीलता है, उनका अहंकार है और कहीं न कहीं उनका ये भ्रम है कि बिहार की जनता खड़ी नहीं होगी। चाहे उसके साथ जितना अन्याय हो जाए, वो खड़ी नहीं होगी। अपने लिए नहीं खड़ी होगी, अपने बच्चों के लिए नहीं खड़ी होगी। जब चुनाव आएगा तो लोग फिर जातियों में बट जाएंगे, फिर धर्म के नाम पर वोट दे देंगे। इसीलिए लोग जनता की चिंता नहीं कर रहे हैं। कोई रणनीति नहीं, बस बैठे रहना है, चाहे जो करना पड़े। जब तक बिहार के लोग जगेंगे नहीं, तब तक सुधार होगा नहीं। और लोगों को ये समझना होगा कि जन बल के आगे कोई बल नहीं है, लेकिन जन बल तब होगा।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. And tonight, Omar Abdullah faces rebellion. He has an open revolt within his party from a member of parliament a few years younger to him, and his name is Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi. He is the National Conference member of parliament from Srinagar. Ladies and gentlemen, Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi is the National Conference MP from Srinagar and is planning to replace Omar Abdullah by striking his own post within the party. I have no problem with that. That's between Omar and this Ruhullah Mehdi gentleman. They can have their own fight. I couldn't care less, frankly. I don't particularly agree with any of the things that Omar Abdullah says or does, so I don't care. But the point is not that. The point is that Omar Abdullah has been told he's too soft. This man, Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, is such an opportunist that he gets elected on a National Conference ticket, goes to Parliament, swears by the Constitution of India, gets a salary paid for by you and me, and abuses the country. If he believed that the abrogation of 370 was wrong and he disagreed with it, then why did he fight the elections? He knew the rules he was bound by. The classical hypocrite will become a member of parliament, will earlier be a minister in Delhi, then worm his way up, get into the party. Tomorrow this man can even tie up with another political party or be a traitor within his own party or tie up with anyone else. But the issue is not this gentleman. When he says tourism is cultural invasion, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, how can a member of parliament in this country, that also the member of parliament from Srinagar, say that tourism is cultural invasion? What is cultural invasion for this National Conference MP? Is the Tiranga hoisting in Lal Chowk a cultural invasion? West Pakistani refugees have been given the status of permanent residents. Is that a cultural invasion? Indians from every part of the country, every other state, are now able to witness the beauty and serenity of Kashmir. They contribute to the economy of Kashmir because they believe that Kashmir is an integral part of India. And we have the member of parliament from Kashmir saying it's cultural invasion. And we, in the name of democracy, are going to keep quiet and do nothing about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if Omar Abdullah cannot sack this member of parliament because he's weak, because he's being blackmailed, or he feels threatened by this MP, that is Omar Abdullah's personal problem. But we, the people of India, cannot have a member of parliament who compares India to Pakistan, who asks for state symbols different from national symbols, who says tourism is cultural invasion. I couldn't care less that he's rebelling against Omar Abdullah. That is his own problem, ladies and gentlemen. Let the both of them fight as much as they want, but the fact is both of them are going down, and each one of them will pull the other down, and there will be a competition, I can predict, between Omar Abdullah and this member of parliament for who can talk more anti-national, anti-India language. If you've seen pictures of Omar Abdullah looking weak and helpless in the assembly of late, unsure, it is because he's being blackmailed on the path that he has already chosen to be on. You see, Omar Abdullah is competing with the ultra-radicals, the anti-nationals. And he hopes to become a moderate version of an anti-national. And Omar Abdullah, let me tell you this, there is no moderate anti-national. If you are a nationalist, which you should be, then swear by the Constitution of India, stop taking an anti-abrogation of 370 stand, call out this man, Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, who is protesting outside your own house, and take control of your party. If you can't, let one of you quit. Either Omar Abdullah quits because he cannot be chief minister and defend national interest, or this man quits, Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, or we sack him because we can't have an MP from Srinagar who is an absolute and open anti-national. Ladies and gentlemen, let's debate.
A new wave of neo-separatism has emerged in India. Srinagar parliamentarian Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi is the latest in line of many leaders to legitimize separatist demands through democratic articulation. In a recent interview, the controversial parliamentarian from Srinagar was quoted saying things like the act of accession of Jammu and Kashmir to India was immoral, calling the rise of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir as cultural invasion. Not just that, he even went on to say that Omar Abdullah was not the chief minister, but he should be the chief rebel. He further brushed aside the Kashmiri Pandit genocide by saying that a lot of Muslims died too, and blood of Pandits was also spilled. This is certainly not the first time the Srinagar parliamentarian has taken a pro-separatist line and has been at the forefront of leading a neo-rebellion within the National Conference against Chief Minister Omar Abdullah for putting a full stop on the radical demand of restoration of Article 370.
हमारे इंडिविजुअल अगर किसी की कोई भी बात हो वो अपनी कह सकता है, वहाँ कोई वो रुकावट नहीं है. आपने देखा कि जनाब राहुल्ला साहब ने बडगाम की सीट पे उमर अब्दुल्ला साहब को कहा था आप यहाँ से लड़िए. ये गलत फहमी है, नाराज़गी नहीं होती, गलत फहमी है लोगों में कि शायद कोई इस किस्म की नाराज़गी चल रही है. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है.
The BJP has questioned the intentions of the National Conference government.
ये एक फिक्स्ड मैच है बिटवीन राहुल्ला एंड अब्दुल्ला. इन्होंने बहुत सोच समझ के बाद एक गेम तैयार की है राहुल्ला साहब और अब्दुल्ला साहब ने कि हम इस सारे इशू को डिवेट करते हैं, डाइवर्ट करते हैं दूसरी तरफ जहाँ पे रिजर्वेशन की बात हो और आपस में एक तकरार दिखे, ताकि लोग उन इश्यूज पे बात न करें जिन पर उन्होंने वादे किए थे। इसलिए एक फिक्स्ड मेज की तरह इस वक्त इनकी लड़ाई दिख रही है।
From election of terror funding accused Rashid engineer.
The vote to me was a referendum against Modi's policy, especially abrogation of Article 370 and 35A.
To pro-Khalistani elements like Amritpal Singh.
No peace can be established without weapons. We have to fight for our rights. We can't let everything slip away from our hand.
India is certainly witnessing a resurgence of neo-separatists who are attempting to capture the mainstream space with their radical agenda. But can members of parliament who have sworn an oath to protect the sovereignty of India take pro-separatist lines without any consequences?
Ashok Pandit is a proud nationalist voice, and Iftikhar Misgar and Dr. Pirzada are both pro-NC, but they have different positions. Dr. Pirzada, I think, majorly defends Omar Abdullah, and Iftikhar defends the Member of Parliament, Agha Syed Ruhullah Mehdi. If he's a Member of Parliament, he is sworn by the... First, he should, if he's going to be an anti-national, he should quit as MP. I think. Don't you think, Ashok? If he's going to abuse Indians, the government of India, say that tourism is cultural invasion, then decent thing is let him quit and do what he wants to. This man is so shameless, he won't even quit, Ashok. He should first quit. Shouldn't he, Ashok?
Arnab, you see, nobody can understand these politicians of Kashmir than a Kashmiri Pandit. We know what their real face is. Now, this guy called Agha has been a plant of Mr. Omar Abdullah. He has been told to take this kind of this kind of a line, so that the real face of Omar Abdullah comes to public. It's a very win-win situation for them, because Omar Abdullah as a chief minister cannot take this aggressive line of pro-separatism. He has planted Agha Syed to say what the real National Conference is all about. National Conference and other political parties in Kashmir cannot be nationalists at any cost. We know their real face. Now this man is a plant. If he would have not gotten permission from Umar Abdullah or Farooq Abdullah, he has no guts to say what he's saying today. This exact entire language, all the lines which he is speaking against the country, against tourism, against 370, whatever he's been saying, is basically the voice of Mr. Omar Abdullah. And the
but isn't it embarrassing, Omar? I mean, Ashok, so Omar is looking so weak. I mean, you have his own MP abusing him, criticizing him, giving him guidance. Omar is looking very weak. So why I don't understand this logic that you're saying he's this plant. Iftikhar, what do you think? Is Omar planting him to do these things? Is Omar Abdullah telling him to abuse tourists, to attack Indian tourism, to compare India to Pakistan, to call tourism cultural invasion? Is the Chief Minister doing this? Can you unmute yourself, Iftikhar, for a moment?
Arnab, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yeah. The unfortunate part of the story here is, like, whenever Kashmiri have spoken or taken his fundamental rights on board, he has been called terrorist. That is unfortunate part. Whenever a Kashmiri nationalist who believes in idea of India...
What do you mean Kashmiri nationalist? One minute. What do you mean Kashmiri nationalist?
I said Indian.
What do you mean? No, you said Kashmiri nationalist.
You have always.
Please correct yourself. Don't say Kashmiri nationalist.
Because it is because of the people like Ashok Pandit, Kashmiri shawl owners are being beaten in Himachal Pradesh because you always treat us anti-nationals. When we have given our blood for this country.
He has proved to be an anti-national. He has proved to be an anti-national by calling...
No. My point is I disagree with him. I'll tell you why. Iftikhar, Mehdi, 1 minute. I think that we must be clear. If the Chief Minister is egging this on, then it's a matter of great concern. If the Chief Minister is not egging this on, that he should sack him, because let's look at the...
Why will he sack him, Arnab? What is wrong with Aga Ruhullah? Aga Ruhullah is talking about the fundamental rights. Aga Ruhullah is talking what Kashmir...
You cannot have a member of parliament asking for a plebiscite in Kashmir. Do you understand me? You cannot have a member of parliament asking for a plebiscite in Kashmir. Mehdi, 1 minute, Dr. Pirzada, Mehdi said plebiscite Junagadh में कराया गया क्योंकि वहाँ की अक्सरियत हिंदू थी और वहाँ प्लेबिसाइट कराना हिंदुस्तान के हक में था, पर कश्मीर पे प्लेबिसाइट नहीं कराया गया. He is claiming that the plebiscite was held in Junagadh because it was Hindu and it would swing in India's favor. I am asking you, if a member of parliament in my country asks for a plebiscite, that means he has a conflict in his mind about where Kashmir belongs. Kashmir belongs to India. Be clear. Kashmir, Pirzada and Iftikhar Misgar belong to India. You can't have an
Kashmir
MP...
belongs to India, and whatever Aga Ruhullah has said is perfectly all right. See, Arnab, you have a history to read. Go to the history. Whatever he said about Junagadh is true. Whatever he said is Hyderabad is 100%. And whatever he referred to Kashmir, that we were told that there will be a...
No, I find it dangerous. I find it dangerous. And Lalit Ambardar, I don't think we can allow this neo-separatist...
These people...
No, let me go to Lalit. Lalit, this is a new form of neo-separatism.
One second, Arnab.
Yes.
Arnab, I think this is not neo-separatism. What you're witnessing now is the attempt to renew...
Don't take it up.
Renew the old tactics of this national conference, traditional national conference. You know, the founder of national conference, the patriarch, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah, the original...
Hello, Mr. Did you ever raise a finger towards RSS?
He played this game with Jaiswal and able to illegal.
You have been always speaking against Kashmir. You have been always against national conference. You have been always against the...
Yes, after Trudeau. 1 minute, Ms. Dr. Pirzada, Mehdi is questioning Kashmir's accession to India. He is asking for a plebiscite. What is his intention and why is Omar Abdullah allowing this? Dr. Pirzada.
Good evening. Thank you for having this invite. I take this issue differently because I see it the tension that is rising up day by day between Aga Ruhullah Mehdi and the vis-a-vis party. It is basically there is a symptomatic of the tectonic shift in the political landscape of the Jammu and Kashmir. I take it like that way. And it reflects the tension within the region that is still grappling with the post or abrogation 370. So the ground is quite fertile. It is ripe for any political leader to catch on it. But at the same time, I add to this debate that Ruhullah, Aga Ruhullah Mehdi is a young leader. He has a very good standing among his followers. I do have a respect for him. They are the divergent. They are the divergent.
No, he is asking for mass anarchy. Dr. Pirzada, let me go to Iftikhar and Iftikhar. Now, Iftikhar, please, Iftikhar, he is saying there should have been a mass protest against the abrogation of Article 370. He is calling for mass anarchy. He is trying to delegitimize an elected central government. He is trying to dilute the authority and sanctity of the decision taken by the parliament. You have an MP who is calling for violence. You have an MP who is calling for violence. This is not what an MP is supposed to do.
Arnab, when 2 times MP Karan Singh, Dr. Karan Singh says the same.
He should have
why don't these RSS
he should have not stood for elections.
The guys with
he has taken an oath. He has taken an oath on the Constitution of India.
Discuss on that?
And Constitution of India has eradicated
they have an agenda.
Article 370.
These Kashmiri Pandits have an agenda.
Constitution of India has eradicated, abolished Article 370. So he cannot criticize or he cannot ask for demand for getting back Article 370. It's a crime. It's a crime. And secondly, Mr. Ali,
when Aga Ruhullah Mehdi, who's
How can he as an MP, who as an MP of this country, India, how can he call the tourists as invaders?
He is a terrorist.
How can he call tourists as invaders? On what basis is he calling the tourists as invaders? He is no less than a terrorist, and that's why he should be called. He should be action should be taken against him as action.
We come across lots of heart attacks nowadays.
Ali साहब आप सुन नहीं रहे हैं?
पानी पियो. Don't shout.
अरे
Don't
साहब
shout.
आप सुन नहीं रहे हार्ट अटैक आप
Keep your age in consideration. Don't shout.
आप अपना ख्याल रखिए.
अपना ख्याल रखो. अशोक अपनी उम्र का ख्याल रखो.
How can
Please, I am hand folding you, telling you, hold on your breath. Take care of your health. Why don't you shout on Karan Singh's son? Why don't you Maharaja Hari Singh's son, when he speaks about 370 article, when he speaks about 35A, when he speaks about land rights, geographical rights of Jammu and Kashmir,
and how dare
why he is not an international? Why Agar Mullah Mehdi, who holds the credibility in Indian nation, why he is targeting as an international? This is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy.
Who has given
this
him the
is
right
ultimate
to call Indian
hypocrisy.
We have a situation because Omar Abdullah's member of parliament, has called Indian tourist invaders, cultural invaders. Now, Omar Abdullah, in my view, has no right to remain quiet on this.
He should be arrested.
He believes that he'll remain quiet, look the other way. He has to clear the air. Where does he himself stand on it? Yes, please.
Lalit.
How can you call an Indian tourist and Indian citizens as invaders?
Lalit.
No, sir. What I was referring to, this purported dichotomy is only to befool us Indians. They are using the Indian constitution, Indian democratic system to sabotage from within.
Why don't you question Dr. Karan Singh also?
Akbar was a member of parliament of Baramulla in parliament last Lok Sabha. That man was member of Assembly. You know what he did in the assembly? He rented the slogan of Pakistan Zindabad right in the live assembly. And what does Sheikh Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah do? Nothing. And they award him with a ticket to Lok Sabha.
Court on that. He apologized on that. You went to court. You went to Supreme Court for that. He apologized for same. Why you are crying now when he apologized for his mistake?
Bavuk ho gaya. And Mehdi from day one. For the patriarch Farooq Abdullah, you know, when he won this election from the Srinagar constituency, he went around and told Kashmiri Muslims in Kashmiri that this man you have elected, he is going to speak for Kashmiri Muslims as well as the Muslims of the rest of India.
Do you know Mr. Sacrifices of Agarullah Mehdi?
Quick.
Do you know his
He was very open about it. He was very open about it.
Have you ever heard?
Nobody said. First interview, he said, 1995. And when the judge asked him, he said, no, I belong to the society and this will happen. This is what they want to do. They want to revive the Kashmir Jihad, revive the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus in full flesh, full throttle. And don't forget, when they were competing, the election campaign was Islamism.
It is Bharatiya Janata Party who is putting the blanket on your exodus.
You know for whom?
Janata Party who is putting Agarullah always talks about your exodus. Agarullah talks always about Kashmiri Pandits. Agarullah always talks about the fundamental rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Agarullah talks about the reservation rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Ashok, his audio is not clear. Ashok.
On behalf of
India. He never spoke about exodus, and we don't want him to talk about us. We don't want any anti-national to talk about Kashmiri Pandit genocide. We better not talk about us because he is responsible for my exodus.
You want me to tell you? 1 minute. Viewers, 1 minute. Iftikhar, let me tell you what this neo-separatist Mehdi MP has said. He said that Muslims could not have saved Pandits. He said Muslim majority उस हालत में नहीं थी कि वो किसी की जान बचा सके. उनकी अपनी जान ली जा रही है. मुसलमानों का कत्ल ज़्यादा हो रहा है. He says Kashmiri Muslims were killed more than Kashmiri Pandits.
Let me tell you why. जो भी हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ AK-47 उठाएगा, उसको तो मरना.
This is what he has said.
What kind of comparison is this? What kind of comparison is this?
Please on it.
What kind of comparison is this?
ask them don't heckle. Ask them not to heckle. See, whatever he said there were two guns in between.
What kind of comparison you are talking about?
I'm expecting an announcement from...
Two guns, and we are unfortunate that we couldn't save our Kashmiri brother. He said, I am sorry, and I must say honestly sorry to my Kashmiri Pandits that we couldn't save them. What is wrong in that? Why are you judging him in a wrong perspective? Why you are making a narrative for Agarullah Mahdi?
You are responsible.
When
you are responsible. We don't want crocodile tears. We don't want crocodile tears. We are not crocodile. We don't want crocodile tears. You are responsible for my genocide.
He is a nationalist.
You kill us, you rape us, you throw us out, and then say that we can't save him.
Whose father became the victim of terrorism.
And then you can't save him.
Who has sacrificed his childhood for terrorism and for Indian democracy. The Agarullah who stood for India in Jammu and Kashmir, and today you are giving him a name of an anti-national. Shame on you, Ashok Pandit. How do you call yourself Kashmir?
No, we don't want crocodile tears. We don't want crocodile tears to talk about us. We are not interested. The truth prevails. The truth prevails. You are responsible for my genocide and ethnic cleansing. You and your people are responsible. So don't spread this crocodile tears on us. We are not interested.
Who stood for
we
your
are
survival?
fighting our own battle and
we
know how to fight our battle.
Now this doesn't look nice.
Don't shed crocodile tears on us.
Ideology.
Don't shed.
Have you ever
You are
spoken against RSS?
You are
No, not a
responsible
single
for my
word.
genocide and exodus. Okay? And you have no right to call my tourists as invaders.
You will never utter a word.
Tourists as invaders cannot be spoken about. Kashmir is part of India and will always remain to be part of India.
Who doubts
or anybody
it?
talking
Who doubts
against
it?
Anybody
I don't have any doubt.
Against eradication of
India
370.
India is me and I am India.
Is not possible.
India is me and
so
I am
you
India.
As a
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a breaking news input coming in. I'm going live full frame to the pictures from Canada, where any point of time now, I'm told Justin Trudeau could be resigning. Viewers, within a year of taking on the Indian government, he has such rising discontent over his leadership that I have reports that Justin Trudeau will be resigning, and this was expected about 4 minutes back. That is the door where he's supposed to come out from, and he will be resigning as the head of the Liberal Party. There will be no head of the Liberal Party then, and the Conservatives are going to sweep the elections. His popularity rating is really, really low. It's in the 20s. In fact, less than 25% of Canadians believe that he should be re-elected. The only party that had been backing Justin Trudeau, which is Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party, pulled out support, and that was a huge setback for him. And Jagmeet announced that he was ready to declare a loss of confidence in his government. And then Justin Trudeau's own party members lost confidence after Trump's 51st governor of US remark. Remember, Trump put down Justin Trudeau by introducing him as Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada. Trudeau had gone to seek Trump's help. Trump, in fact, ended up mocking him. And ladies and gentlemen, all of this is happening principally as a one-year rollout of the impact that taking on the Indian government has had. Justin Trudeau is a pro-Khalistani politician who thought that taking an anti-India line, a pro-Khalistani line, a pro-Khalistani terrorism line would help him hang on to power, and that was his clear intent. And Justin Trudeau is this really privileged, elitist figure. Many people compare him to leaders from the Vadra Congress here in India, who's been an absolute disaster as a leader. Today, we are waiting for the live announcement of his resignation. This is going to be a moment I would say, where many Indians will consider themselves proven right. And Justin Trudeau's record has straightforward, ladies and gentlemen, been that of a pro-Khalistani leader. In recent times, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement there. I think he will be coming any time now. They are preparing for his resignation announcement. I think my producers will tell me anytime which guests I have live with me. And that's coming up in a minute. And Shiv Bhaskar is with me. He's president of the Overseas Friends of India, Canada. He's live from Ottawa. Shiv, you're expecting this announcement soon now? Any last minute thoughts ahead of the formal briefing?
Be announcing fairly soon. He's waiting to come out, and he's gonna, I believe, he's gonna resign as a leader of a Liberal Party, and maybe not as a prime minister. So he will be in the interim as a prime minister and attending the President of Trump his inauguration on January 20th. So that will go on in the meantime. I think he'll leave a legacy behind, where he was a prime minister for 9 years, and. In the beginning, he did bring his Liberal Party into, first time when he won it with a majority, and the second time when he got a minority, it was a more of a challenging situation. And since then, his popularity has gone down tremendously. And the Conservatives, if an election was to happen today, Conservative would get a major majority right now.
But if he quits as if there is going to be coming out. If he quits as head of the Liberal Party, what does that make him in effective terms? I mean, is lame duck prime minister?
Well, basically what
less?
will happen, that will allow for the party to start the process to have its leadership convention. So they will start the process. There's like rules that they have to follow. And they will elect a new leader. And for that, they need to go certain processes. Which I'm not totally familiar with, but that's why. And they're going to prorogue the parliament until, I believe, March 24th, and that will give them some opportunity at that time to run their leadership convention. It'll be a very short one, very quick one. It doesn't give you a hell of a lot of time. And then they will have a new leader, and then they probably will call the election, and then Liberal will have a new leader who will be representing in the next prime minister election as a prime minister face.
And what about the Khalistani lobbies? Where do they stand right now? He's been so strongly pro-Khalistan.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something that is going to be remembered very nicely. He has totally destroyed the relationship between India and Canada because of that. And I think there was too much noise there. It's really a non-issue as far as economy of Canada goes, as far as building relationships with the other countries goes. It was a lot of noise, and I think that's.
I think Trudeau's coming out right now. Let's listen in.
Sure.
So I thought it might be fun for us to do this again. Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre, inspiré par la résilience, la générosité et la détermination qui nous caractérisent si bien en tant que Canadiens. C'est ce qui me motive à chaque jour où j'ai le privilège de servir dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, depuis 2015, je me suis battu pour ce pays, pour vous, pour renforcer la classe moyenne. Pourquoi nous nous sommes mobilisés en tant que Canadiens pour se soutenir les uns les autres pendant la pandémie, pour faire progresser la réconciliation, pour défendre le libre-échange sur notre continent, pour notre soutien inébranlable de l'Ukraine et de la démocratie, et pour lutter contre les changements climatiques et préparer l'économie de l'avenir. Nous traversons vraiment un moment critique dans le monde. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter. Dans mon fort intérieur, je me suis toujours battu parce que je me soucie profondément des Canadiens. Et je serai toujours motivé par ce qui est dans le meilleur intérêt des Canadiens. Et le fait est que malgré tous les efforts déployés pour passer à travers, le Parlement est paralysé depuis des mois, après ce qui a été la plus longue session d'un Parlement minoritaire dans l'histoire de notre pays. C'est pourquoi ce matin, j'ai rencontré la gouverneure générale pour lui faire savoir que nous avions besoin d'une nouvelle session du Parlement. Elle a accédé à ma demande et la Chambre sera donc prorogée jusqu'au 24 mars. Pendant le temps des fêtes, j'ai également eu l'occasion de réfléchir et d'avoir de longues conversations avec ma famille quant à notre avenir. Tout au long de ma carrière, tout le succès que j'ai eu personnellement est dû à leur soutien et à leurs encouragements. Donc hier soir, au souper, j'ai partagé avec mes enfants la décision que je partage avec vous tous aujourd'hui. J'ai l'intention de démissionner de mon poste de chef du Parti libéral du Canada et de Premier ministre une fois que le parti aura choisi son prochain chef à l'issue d'un processus national, rigoureux et compétitif. Hier soir, j'ai demandé au président du parti de commencer les étapes nécessaires. Le pays mérite un choix clair et réel lors des prochaines élections. Il est devenu évident pour moi que si je dois me concentrer sur des batailles internes, je ne peux pas être la meilleure option lors de ces élections. Le Parti libéral du Canada est une institution importante dans l'histoire de notre grand pays et de notre démocratie. Un nouveau premier ministre et chef du parti portera les valeurs et les idées du Parti libéral dans la prochaine élection. J'ai hâte d'observer le déroulement de ce processus dans les mois à venir. Nous avons été élus pour la 3e fois en 2021 pour renforcer l'économie après la pandémie et faire progresser les intérêts du Canada dans un monde complexe. Et c'est exactement ce que je vais continuer à faire, ce que nous allons continuer à faire pour les Canadiens. The Liberal Party of Canada is an important institution in the history of our great country and democracy. A new Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party will carry its values and ideals into that next election. I'm excited to see the process unfold in the months ahead. We were elected for the 3rd time in 2021 to strengthen the economy post-pandemic and advanced Canada's interests in a complicated world. And that is exactly the job that I and we will continue to do for Canadians. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to questions, starting with Laurence Martin, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Vous vouliez le faire, ce combat contre Pierre Poilievre. Des batailles internes, il y en a dans votre parti depuis.
Okay, so that's the official announcements. You're going to have Q&As right now. Let me get in some analysts in. Peter Kuznick, Director of Nuclear Studies at the Institute of American University at Washington. Peter, expected lines? Some said he would quit only as Liberal Party chief, but he's also quit as Prime Minister. When did his luck begin to run out, in your view? Did he have any options left?
Well, his luck started to run out when Trump got elected, but it ran out much more strongly when the pandemic hit. You have to put this in a global context. And it's not as if Trudeau is somehow an aberration. What we're seeing across the world right now is a reaction against almost all incumbents, but especially more liberal or social democratic incumbents. And what people are opting for is more conservative, more right-wing governments. I think they're going to regret it. There's going to be a vast buyer's remorse. But what's happened recently, especially with Chrystia Freeland's resignation and Donald Trump's victory, is that Trudeau came to Mar-a-Lago and groveled. Trump mocked him. Trump mocked Canada. And that was an insult on top of the other issues. They've got real issues. They had problems with inflation, but those seem to have largely subsided now. Inflation is under 2%. They had serious problems with dealing with the pandemic. They had pretty strict policies, and the public has reacted against that. They did open the door to immigration, and that was partly in response to what Trump was doing. So when Trump cracked down, Trudeau, I think, in a very positive way, opened the door. But what we've seen over and over again is that policy ultimately backfires because right-wing populists are able to exploit it. And it happened in Canada as well. So in some ways, Trudeau is paying the price for having done a lot of good things. But
he's got a bit of I don't know about image, but I don't know, maybe we in India look at it particularly from the perspective of his having been one of the greatest supporters of Khalistani terrorism, and that is our skew. That's how we look at it. You see, Jeff, I'd like to go to Jeff Bellinger next, who's joining us, I think, from Toronto. Jeff, how are you viewing this? We in India are looking at this as good riddance to a Prime Minister who was clearly pro-Khalistani terrorists from our perspective. How is it being viewed there?
This is a great day for Canada. The Canada that I remember 10 years ago before Trudeau is completely different than the one I know today. Our country is poorer, our country is dirtier, our country is more dangerous, our country is in need of a comeback. And so I think this is fantastic news for the country. Time will tell about what happens next in terms of how the Liberals decide to replace Trudeau in what fashion. But this is great news for the country. Not only is Trudeau he didn't even get to go to the ballot box. He is getting pushed out by his party. It's a humiliating end to his premiership.
Rakesh Tiwari is a journalist based out of Brampton. Rakesh, will this change the policy of the government or the Ottawa's policy regarding Khalistani groups?
I will say it has started a bit prior to that. You can say that since last 2-3 years, his whole time period was like that. When you talk about the Khalistan, so the legitimate questions was raised by Indo-Canadian community, and he has disregarded it. His father was known for bringing the multiculturalism in 1984 and bringing the Charter of Rights. And so I will say the Indo-Canadians who are living in Canada, they are not only Indo-Canadians, and majority of the immigrants, they were siding with the Liberals up to a time. But this time, anybody and everybody is, as my previous person has said, that everybody is happy. Put it this way, this uncertainty is over now. Now we know that Justin Trudeau is, as is disliked by his own caucus member as well. So he was prolonging as much as possible. But I think he couldn't bear anymore. But I will totally agree with this point that 16th of December, when Chrystia Freeland, who was the Deputy Prime Minister as well as the Finance Minister, she was known as Justin Trudeau's strongest hand. She was always by his side. And when he threw her away, that was his going down towards the hill.
He's literally taken on everyone. I wonder who he is not taken on. In the last 16 months, we were calculating, since he became this irrational kind of person. He had a grudge against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, behaves very badly, made a lot of enemies, virtually took on every group out there. Anis Faruqi, how do you view this? Anis, he's a journalist based in Canada. Anis.
Arnab, basically I agree with my friends that Canada is happy that Mr. Trudeau, who was not performing well, is no more. From Canadian point of view, it has nothing to do with any external factor of Khalistan or Modi ji or anything. Liberal Party was recently like a house of cards falling apart, and
he was using what he perceived to be a battle with India. He was using it to position himself.
On the foreign front, yes, but this is not the cause.
No, from a political domestic front, I meant. Let me get Shiv on this. Wasn't he doing that, Shiv? Was Justin Trudeau not using his sort of fight with the Indian government, fight with Modi, to position himself to get Khalistani votes, to appeal to certain sections in Canada?
Yeah, if you look at his foreign policy, I think he miserably failed not only with India, but also with China, and also with the United States, and also with Saudi Arabia. I mean, the relationships that we had previous to Justin Trudeau with those countries was much, much better. And then for whatever reason, I don't think he understood the bigger things of the foreign relations, the international trade. And the funny thing is, Canada is a trading nation. We export almost 80% of everything we make. So that should be first. I don't think he put Canada first, and he started putting his personal, whatever, if he did like somebody, his personal interest first. And I think that was his downfall. And once he dug that hole, especially with respect to the Khalistani issue, he went further and further, and he didn't know how to get out of it. And that's made situation, not only like Canadians knew what he was doing, even the world didn't know what to expect from Canada and what their stand was. So this confusion actually hurt us in good standing all over the world, and also in relation to when we were negotiating trade agreements. I mean, North American Free Trade Agreement was a great, great trade agreement. And then when he came in, when Trump was there first time, he opened it, and he squeezed out a lot of benefits in his favor. Now he's saying the same thing. I'm going to come in. I'm going to put 25% tariff on all Canadian goods, and when Justin went to see him, and he referred to him as a governor, that's an insult. So I agree with what the panelists have said, is that this guy, as far as foreign policy went, international trade goes, it was not, beacon to be held up. He was probably the worst, I would say, prime minister as far as international trades went.
Absolutely. Well, I think Rakesh wanted to come in there. I'm very keen, Rakesh, to get a sense of how this is going to be viewed by the Indian community in Canada.
they will be in much more relief, I'll say that, because we were facing, our temple attacks and, those people who appreciate India, they are proud of coming from India and they are living here. So they are very, very happy in that way, because let me say that on 4th of June 2023, when late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's whole thing, cargo was going on, and he has not condemned it, while his opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, has condemned it. So Indian community is going to take, will be very, very happy, Indo-Canadians who are here. I will say that, since the beginning, his situation became a bit, I will say, imbalanced during the COVID period, because when he was giving the payment to all the Canadians. And even that time I really thought about it, when in 2021 he has declared the midterm election. There was no need, he didn't get anything. Over $500 million Canadians has to pay for the midterm election for his own gain. And he was in another scandals too before about his minister. Plus, during the COVID period too, when he was giving all the students, he was giving the money through his one of the business partner, you can say, where he was actually with the legal, framework. He was put in that way that he has a conflict of interest. His finance minister at that time, if I'm not wrong here, Bill Murrow, has resigned as well. And the organization where he got problems with the WIN, where his mother was going and giving the lectures, he has put, I think, if I'm not wrong, in $90 million or $100 million. That was the issue. But definitely, let me say that Indo-Canadian, or every Canadian, wherever I go, being in media, people say, Mr. Tiwari, when Justin Trudeau is going down, when Justin Trudeau is going down. So everybody, I will say, all the Canadians, they are going to be happy.
Okay, Jeff, quick word from you. What happens in the transition now in Canada?
We don't know. That's going to be up to the Liberal Party to decide about how they choose their next leader. All that we know is that the House is prorogued, the House is suspended until March 24th, after which we'll see if the Liberal Party can make some sort of deal with the Socialist NDP to prop them up, or whether there'll be a quick vote of non-confidence and we're plunged into an election. It's going to be up to the Liberal Party to decide how they choose their next leader. There's going to be lots of infighting. I think it's every step the Liberals take from here on in is a step into a rake. It's not going to get better for them. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it won't help them in the election. So we are seeing a complete political change coming up in Canada. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. And as I come to the end of the debate, let's record and summarize with note assist using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Justin Trudeau's resignation marks the inevitable end of a leadership tarnished by plummeting approval ratings, internal party discord, and growing public dissatisfaction. With his ally Jagmeet Singh pulling out support sometime back, escalating corruption scandals, and worsening economic crisis, from skyrocketing housing costs to rampant inflation, his departure reflects the collapse of his political credibility and the urgent call for change in Canada's governance. Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it, the precise reading of the debate in a simpler format using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good night and goodbye.
Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.